Thanks for joining us, Senator. Minority Leader of the Guam Legislature, Senator Jim Moylan.
Hi, morning, Chris, Bree, and Jason there, and Joe as well. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. So I see you're still writing those letters, those pesky letters.
Yeah. We've been doing that since 2018. Sometimes my pen pal doesn't respond, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop. No, we're bringing up issues though, and that's the thing. And sometimes it's important to document it and send it officially. How the response comes, I don't know, but sometimes I do see it in actions and different policies that are written coming from the governor's office. So maybe she gets a hint from my letters. Sometimes I just want to think that. But yes, most recently we did one just on the 3rd, yesterday as well. I had that discussion about the liaison position in DC, and I'm just wondering, tell me what's new, what's going on with our liaison position in DC. And we have a bill that we introduced in the 2018 and also again in the 36th Guam legislature too, where because of a mandate in public law that this office is required. And I'm wondering that, well, let's see what this office has performed. So we asked a few questions there, wondering especially where is the money coming from, the general fund, or is it coming out of the governor's office? And also, what's the total cost for this office to maintain, the total staff involvement there and rental? I don't know that. And I'm seeing if I'm looking for it in the budget, this submitted as well. So if this office is performing, that's wonderful. But how would I know that? How would the people know that unless we're giving transparency about this office? Yeah. The federal monies that really came in during the initial COVID relief was due to U.S. Congress and Donald Trump, and now President Biden, we're hoping, will give us money as well. But our congressman also was a great part of that too. So what role did the liaison play in the past money that we received and in the future money that we're hoping to receive too? If it's working out, that's great. I support that. But if it's not, what are we going to do to ensure that we're getting the cost for our investment there? And I plan to move our bill forward, Bill 1936, as well, because it's a mandate. And I say basically eliminate the mandate, take it out of Guam GCA, eliminate Article 6, the Guam Liaison Office. If the governor so wishes to continue, well, that's fine, but it doesn't need to be put in there by public law. The governor can have that out of her budget. So just a few simple questions, wondering if I'll get some answers, but you know how that goes.
Come on.
But I think it's important that we bring the issues up, and it's just information that we're asking. That's the transparency that we've been hoping for. And that was Bill 11 also, Senator Chris Duenas, is transparency about the 117 million. What happened to that, right? We have just the tip of the iceberg, but there's more information that we need. We're waiting for OPA's report to come on out with more details of these different investigations that they're doing. But as senators, we have to ask the questions. I'm not saying anything's being done wrong, but it just provide us with the answers, and then we can see how we can help or do some changes. So we'll see how that goes.
Senator, so yeah, it is kind of interesting that it is difficult to find the cost of the liaison office because you don't. I mean, do you even see former Congresswoman Berdalio on the staffing? I'd have to double check. But I remember that I'd done something on this a couple years ago and talked to her, and I believe that she had said that she had a staff of, it was like 1 or 2 or something like that, right? And then so they do rent the office. But, I agree. I think that we don't hear anything. Right. I mean, I'm not agreeing that we've got to dispose of the office, but I will say we just do not hear zero. Right. They need to do one of these like fluffy videos and, follow Madeline Berdalio around DC. And then so when I'm watching YouTube, this can pop up and, I can be like, oh, OK, that's what she's doing. She's walking around DC.
Right. Yeah, that's a terrific idea. And I'm sure our former congresswoman there would be really open to that. And I have nothing against Madeline Berdallo. I think she's a fine person and has done great for the island, and all her responsibilities from first lady to lieutenant governor to congresswoman and everything that she's done. And I bet you, if you did walk around with a camera the day in the life of Madeline in DC, that would be super cool. We could start a little mini series on it. But the object is, no matter who's in the position, right? We need these reports. Is this position necessary or not? And I think it's kind of interesting how this position got started too. I think it could have been maybe there were some disagreements between a Governor Past and a Congressman Past as well, and somebody needed to go in between, and it kind of got created. Yeah. It's important that we do have folks that lobby for us. Saipan has folks that lobby for them as well, and the more we're able to say Guam over there in Congress building, because there's a lot of new people that through the elections, they change and they may or may not have any idea of where Guam is and how important it is to the United States, and how Guam is really helpful in with our patriotic, right? Just being patriotic. And we have all our servicemen here per capita, that we have the greatest numbers that enlist to defend our nation and to defend our island. So they need to know that over and over again. And maybe this is a position to hold, but or maybe not. But we won't know that unless we get some answers. And that was the object of this letter. Right. And I believe a recent staffing pattern I was able to come across with is there's a couple of positions to include the position of Madeline as well. It comes out to, with all the benefits, just for salaries, $150,000. But we, there's a couple of people there.
Senator, it's like two. Is it the Madeline Berdallo, and then how many other staffers? Is it one or two?
The one I show one staff.
Okay. Is that
one staffer?
How much?
Oh, okay. So with the benefits, one position is 62, the other is 87. That's with all the benefits included.
So the former Congressman woman makes 87.
62.
62. Who makes 87?
Right. They have a staff assistant.
Oh, wow.
Right. Yeah. But so I'm also wondering on the cost of the office expenses. Is the trips paid for? What's the total budget for this office, and where is it coming from? Is it directly out of the governor's office budget, or is it coming out of the general fund? It will be helpful to find out. And what has this office done for the island? How significant were they in assisting us, especially in the this next round of over $600 million coming to Guam, hopefully, which is well needed. And if that office is doing a great deal in support of that, then I want to hear it. And that's wonderful. If not, then how can we utilize that office better, or do we actually need the office? That's the questions I'm trying to get at.
Pretty valid. I mean,
let's put in the ask. See if former Congresswoman Madeline Berdallo will come on. We could ask
what have you been doing,
or whoever to try and hook us up with that interview. Because you're right. I'd like to know what she's been up to for the past 2 years.
Right. Yeah. And you shouldn't get your head bitten off if you ask. You know what I mean? We're just asking, like, what's the lady doing?
That's right. It's all very respectable. Again,
we don't need to explain all that, Senator. Yeah. We're entitled. It's public, whatever. But you're right. I mean, Mosqueda on one picture. Is there even a picture of former Congresswoman Madeline Berdallo doing something in the pandemic at DC? Or, I mean, is there even like a picture? Or because we get nothing.
Right. So let's ask the questions and let's get the answers, and we can move us forward and get past this pandemic.
And I think it's got an unfortunate end, I think, to the Congresswoman's legacy, right? Because she does have a legacy. I mean, she's was at a time, and maybe some people still think she is, a political powerhouse. And I think all this talk about, and I get it, right? She's Madeline Berdallo. She kind of has to have a job. It's just. But, when I talk to her, she doesn't need the money. No, I mean, I'm saying just politically, right? It's like she commands vote. No, I'm not saying that I think she has to have a job. I'm just saying realistically, politically, they want her to be relevant in whatever way because she commands a lot of votes. That's really what it's about. I mean, it's simple. But when I talked to her, she said flat out, she's like, Chris, I don't need the money. Obviously, she doesn't need the money. She's there because she wants to help, I guess. So all we're saying, and, you know, this is, again, something that we looked at a couple years ago is what kind of help are we getting, right? Because you're right. We don't really hear anything. But I want to say also, Senator, that I looked into the previous D.C. liaison, Margaret Metcalf, when she was in D.C., and it was pretty much the same thing. I mean, I had a hard time getting a hold of her.
What did she do?
No one knew what she did. So this position is really like, to me, it's kind of like a tread water. And then when the governor comes out to D.C., you set up all the steak and lobster dinners and the schmoozing. That's what that position should be called.
Right. Yeah. And if the governor, current, past, or present wants this position, I don't, and we can't. If these are our history of it, why do we have it as a public law? Why is it a mandate? The governor wants to do something and keep that position, fine, under the governor's budget, but not under the general fund. We can use that money elsewhere, and we really need to look at our overall organization of the government and how we can streamline and focus on the important things. If it's performing, then sure, but if it's not performing, why have it? It's being transparent. That's what I'm really hoping for, and I believe tomorrow should be the deadline for the governor to see if she decides. Well, she has said Bill 11, which she'll veto, but I'm wondering why she's waiting so long. If you said it, if you said you're going to veto it since before it even got session floor, then veto it on day one. Why hold back?
Give it to us, right? Bring it on, Gov. Veto it if you're going to veto it, pues. Veto it, pues. Veto it, pues. Totally veto it. Totally. All right, we'll let you get back to picking on old ladies.
No, I totally respect. I totally
I'm
respect.
just messing, Senator.
Thank you.
Good luck.
And
Good luck.
I would love to see a day in the life of Madeline there in DC. I think that's a great, and she does know a lot of people, and would be really interesting.
Yeah. No, on paper I see it. You're right. The connections, all that stuff. But I'm just saying, if that is being done and she's walking down deals or knocking on doors, then show us the proof, right? Because we just don't hear anything.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Senator.
Thanks,
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Right on. You know me. Come on.
Of course, I know you.
I think we found our Instagram clip of the day.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to pick on an old lady? Go for it. It's on you. 927.
It doesn't even matter if it's Lent or not. That's just wrong at any time of the year.